It was Saturday morning, and I was up at the break of dawn to drive from Raton to Cimarron along a back road that I knew was frequented by Pronghorn. My ultimate destination today was Farmington, New Mexico, so there was plenty of time to enjoy the journey. My drive would be primarily along U.S. Highway 64 across the northern part of the state. However, what about that coolant overheating problem? I decided to arrive in Farmington before the Jeep dealer closed so that I could pick up some antifreeze, just in case.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Turkey Trot. Look at all these turkeys crossing the road in front of me. Okay. Welcome to day 3 of Dollhouse Nights. It is Saturday morning. I am headed from Raton, New Mexico to Farmington, New Mexico this morning. Right now I'm on a stretch of road that wildlife is common on, such as the turkey. I've seen quite a few pronghorn in the past here. I've never seen any elk, but I hear there are elk. And there are also bison in this area. Pronghorn up there on the right. He is trapped between the fences. They won't jump a fence, they'll crawl under it. And that rocky outcropping out there about 1230 is the Tooth of Time. I had climbed that along with a couple other mountains around here, Baldy Mountain and Touch Me Not. There's some turkeys right there up the road. We're driving through Cimarron Canyon. Much of this is owned by Philmont Scout Ranch. Belongs to the Boy Scouts of America, of course. I have hiked these mountains, about 95 miles on a trek back in 2005. There's Touch Me Not off to the right, and further to the right is Baldy. Look at those big ears, those are mule deer. This is the Palisades Sill. It's pretty impressive. This is interesting. This is about the same conditions I had going up Capulin, and my coolant temperature is staying perfectly normal. We're entering Eagle Nest. That is Eagle Nest Lake. The snow-covered peak you see in the distance is Wheeler Peak. It is the high point of the state of New Mexico. This is a pretty good climb here. Kind of reminiscent of what I was driving yesterday when I had trouble with the Jeep overheating. So I'm keeping a close eye on the temperature gauge. Well, the temperature gauge is rock steady right where it's supposed to be, in the middle. Once I break out of this canyon, I'm going to drop right into the town of Taos, New Mexico. I'll continue on Highway 64 through Taos and across the Rio Grande River, a really neat bridge, and then across the Jicarilla Apache Reservation. And in the distance there, you can see a gorge. That's actually the Rio Grande River, and it's very deep right in here. And I'll be crossing that, of course. It's a very impressive bridge. there's a community up here on the right. You see on the hills on the right. And I'm going to guess it's people who have chosen to live off the grid. I've always thought these places look kind of cool. Entering Karsten National Forest. That's too bad. This is the tallest cliff in New Mexico off here to the right, and there's a place to pull off the road there. I've been stuck in that snow before at this time of year when I was headed out for Easter Jeep Safari.
So there it is right over there. The highest cliff in the state of New Mexico. Pretty impressive, isn't it?
3 miles ahead, stay on US 64 west as it turns right.
Looks like the lake's a little low on water, huh?
Even though I'd had no issues with my cooling system this day, I picked up some antifreeze at the Jeep dealership. I also noted that the bump stop bolt for my bumper tire rack had broken, so picked up some parts and repaired that. And then the next morning I was up bright and early, headed on the final leg to Hanksville, Utah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of Dollhouse Nights. And happy Easter. It is Easter Sunday morning. Off to the left here, of course, is the monolith Shiprock. Pretty impressive rock formation. It is sacred in Dene culture. It is where the Navajo people originally descended from. So this morning I'm heading from Farmington, where I spent son, Matthew, and his wife. And on Tuesday morning, we're going to head into Canyonlands National Park, specifically the Dollhouse area of the Maze District. Up Highway 191 towards Utah. And crossing Comb Ridge here.
There is Comb Ridge right there, known to Native Americans as the backbone of the world. Behind that is the Abajo Mountains. And over here further to the left, we have Bears Ears.
That in the distance straight ahead, of course, is Monument Valley. I'm not going quite that far. I'm going to turn off before then. Moki Dugway is over here on the right, and I plan on driving through Valley of the Gods, which will let me off on the base of Moki Dugway and drive up that, get up on the plateau that's here on the right. And I'm turning into Valley of the Gods.
Well, that's not good. That's my radiator water.
So I stopped the Jeep to shoot a couple of photographs, and I heard some bubbling under the hood. So I lifted it up, and the coolant was bubbling into the overflow reservoir, which fortunately did not overflow itself. So I did a little bit of troubleshooting, and I noticed that the engine fan wasn't running. I have an engine fan cutoff switch, so I flipped the switch on that a couple of times and banged on the relay, and the cooling fan started running, and immediately the engine cooled right back down to normal operating temperature. These are impressive when you get back here. Headed up Moki Dugway. Let's see, never used four-wheel drive there, so good on that. You're getting low. Okay, the engine's overheating. Go beat on that relay. All right, well, I twist and prodded and stuff like that. I'm going to give it a go, see what happens here. There goes the temperature up. This will be the fastest run I've ever done a Moki Dugway. temperature is dropping back down. Not quite to normal, but just a hair above it. I wouldn't normally worry about it getting up this high. Well, now it's starting to rise a little bit. Yeah, it's rising now. This is a good place to stop. Well, isn't this something? I turned on the air conditioner and it cooled right down. So I'm going to drive. Ah, there's Bear's Ears. It's right ahead on either side of the road. My temperature is staying smack dab in the middle with the air conditioner running. And of course, normally when you're overheating, what's the first thing you want to do? Turn off the air conditioner. Up to Hite Overlook. I've driven past here quite a few times, but I've never stopped at the Overlook here, so I'm going to see what it's like.
Today, my engine overheating had become a real problem. On my previous attempts to enter the Dollhouse, I had been stymied first by weather, then by illness. Taking such a trip without a reliable vehicle or a solid plan if a problem occurred was risky. Tow charges from that area are billed in thousands of dollars. Was I destined to come up short this time because of a mechanical failure?